It's okay. Warming up. Okay, we just got to reshare things. Okay, I'll let Facebook first. I was surprised.
What?
I copied the link when I went to Twitter. It was ready to post.
Oh, that's odd.
That was a surprise. I did not expect that. Hey, Mitch. Glad to have you here very early.
Yeah, we're still figuring out the sort of balance for this camera setup. Let me, yeah, always decide to clear my glasses as we start the episode. Hope everybody's been okay. It's been a busy, busy week.
How will I add you if you only have three profile pictures and they're not familiar?
What's this person?
I don't know.
No, then don't add. That's always my response.
But yeah, we're officially starting in a bit. Just manually sharing the links. Oh my gosh, Leverage Redemption.
Hello,
So,
Noel. So our copy of the Mind Management board game arrived from the States. It's very exciting.
mhm.
For those who remember, we actually had a whole episode talking about why Mind Management is such an awesome comic book.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
So now we have the game, and then we're gonna figure out how to explore it. Only because, like, just because one of the hallmarks of the book was like a bunch of marginal notes and scribbles that seemed to be written in universe, but not necessarily by any of the characters. So that's tricky.
Hey, Kenny.
Then the board game box has a lot of that. So I don't know. So it'll most likely be a Monday, or it might be a weekend episode, so that we have time to
Mhm.
just enjoy the
Let's
box.
give them a. So this is how big it is,
And this cover is actually from the comics itself. There was an issue like that.
and then it's really big. You know, glare galore.
Yeah, it's getting glare from your computer, ironically, and the lights.
Mm.
And there are little notes on it, like "Don't you want to buy another game?" or and then with an arrow pointing to the next game on the shelf or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it can be read, but there's
Yeah,
a
there's a little. You can see there's text. You just can't read it, but it has a lot of stuff.
big hefty box. Ah.
So yeah, exciting. Okay, I guess you might as well start so that we can get this show on the road, quite literally. So
Mhm.
we'll play the intro and be right back.
Oh yeah! Really right!
Hello, everyone. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, our little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random
And
live.
if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Welcome to episode 234. That's 234.
If you like things in sequential order, sure, it's a thing.
And our
Yeah.
topic tonight is a combination of two requested topics.
Yeah, which are both requested by Mitch. Because there's how do we read it? Because one is a very long description, which is the times your heart got fluttered. Another puso talk, hehe. But we can go beyond love. Pwedeng using that awe feeling, like seeing art, watching the spectacular fireworks, amazing food that's being cooked or served in front of you, having a good view from a plane, skydiving, etc. Or that waiting is over, your pinakahihintay Lazada package has arrived. And then the other was just, the sucker for rom-com, which is the Kilig happy feeling, and the lead-in moments. Parenthesis, lead-in is that moment before the first kiss, reference to How I Met Your Mother. So, I mean, like, we figured that the two are highly interrelated, and so I
Mhm.
guess we'll try to tackle both. So, one is just a bit more fictional, and then the other is a bit more
Mhm.
well, real life, I guess, and not necessarily, but overall, not necessarily just romantic. So
Mhm.
it's just just happy moments, I guess.
Because kilig is a very Filipino word. A lot of
Super.
times, the word kilig is like the challenge of, so how would it translate? How would you try to describe the word to your foreign friends?
Yeah, and it's less you can translate it to a word, but really you'll end up trying to describe a concept because that's what it feels like.
Mhm.
It's complicated. Okay, so but how do we start? I haven't quite figured out how to start this discussion only because I've been super busy, and then I was thinking about it on and off today, but I just didn't know. Well, do you have an idea? Where do you wanna go first?
Well, the simplest might be to attack first the fictional side of things, and then from there we could spin off to the non-fictional. At
Okay,
least with the fictional one, we could rely on existing lists of various movies, of the top 10 romance movies and stuff like that, and
or I
discuss
guess
things from there.
romantic moments or something. I mean, because what's this? When you feel killing, it's a very acute thing. Like
Mm.
it's a there's a trigger for it. You don't
Mhm.
feel kilig the whole day.
Mhm.
You think about something or you experience something, and then that's the hence is it redundant to say it's a moment, but I feel like just to be very clear that it is a moment. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think about, like, I guess what then we would so from a romantic movie or romantic comedy this description perspective, then I guess you want to focus on key moments that really drive that. What defines the romance or something, or
Mm-hmm.
what what most people remember. I don't know. I'm just trying to give a direction for things. Noel says to try defining the feeling or the experience. I guess that's tricky. So, what do you think are um, Mitch says pit a pat moments. Mitch, you're gonna have to explain that example. What does that mean? Pit a pat. I'm assuming you're trying to describe like uh, uh, how your heart beats. I don't know. Why is it pit a pat? Toby is trying to find a definition for kilig, which
Yeah.
is interesting. Hmm. Mish explains, pitapat, the sound the heart when you get kilig. The sound the heart makes when you get kilig. Oh, I don't know. Haven't really thought about it, or I guess because it is a feeling, and whether you you tie it to feeling or hearing your heartbeat, or I guess other sensory things your body goes through, then maybe that's part of that. How would you? Because I obviously because it's a Filipino term, then we don't have a Wikipedia page that's as easy to attack. What do you got, Toby?
So since we're skipping movies for now, so the Oxford Dictionary defines Kilig moment as a thrilling romantic moment. I guess that's the closest they could try to describe it. Because for I guess a more personal definition, Kilig the Kilig moment can be different for the intensity or the source.
Hmm.
Like in one case, the Kilig might be a ticklish feeling wherein you don't know how to place yourself or you don't know how to carry yourself further. In other instances, the Kilig moment might be a moment of sudden shock and surprise where it suddenly feels very warm because you're suddenly realizing you're the focus of the moment or you're the focus of attention and you don't know how to respond to that moment. Other times, it might be a response to something romantic happening, and you're just empathizing with that
Hmm.
moment because you find it so killing, you find it so cute, so romantic, even if you're not really involved. And that's where it tends to happen with movies and shows. Um, there's a list from one website which talks about kilig moments in recent pop culture you wish happened to you. It's a lot of lists of different local shows, everything from Popoy and Basha's well-deserved ending to how Ian Veneracion smiles because he's been such a long time crush tambayan who disappeared for a while and came back.
Okay.
Um, you have, of course, other, I guess, celebrity couples setting what people keep saying to be romantic goals when in truth it's just an idealized form of looking at good-looking people together. Um, and then you have, of course, from shows wherein they finally kiss after so long,
Hmm.
which is a staple when it comes to a lot of romantic media, whether it's movies or TV. It's about the two people who you feel should be together and they still aren't, and finally, when they're at that moment, or when they're on those moments where they're on the verge of admitting but not yet,
Hmm.
and that's where it happens.
Do you find yourself, I guess, from a I guess entertainment perspective, do you find yourself feeling kilig more with rom-coms or straight up like more dramatic romance stories?
Um, well, I don't really watch that many straight up romance stories.
Okay.
Those bore me, to be honest. I like the fantasy and the over the topness of rom coms.
Mm-hmm.
The more realistic dramas or romance stories, um, either they feel too slow for me or too personal, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And when it feels too personal, I feel like, why am I watching this? Why am I not leaving these two people alone?
It feels intrusive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then when it's a rom com, then there's sort of this shared understanding that it's not serious, so let's just have fun. And I feel okay to enjoy it.
How are you with and I'll keep throwing stuff more to Toby because rom
Mhm.
coms is really Toby's domain. And
Mhm.
then like yeah, and we've mentioned many times like when we first got together, then one of the first few things Toby did was like to make me watch a few more rom coms. And not that I hadn't seen any, I think as a family you inevitably watch some, but then it wasn't a genre of entertainment that I particularly gravitated towards.
Mhm.
So going that and then looking at rom coms, because you say you watch them more, then uh, um, do the tropes help or do they get in the way of like creating kilig moments on the screen?
Personally feel the tropes help because
Mm-hmm.
I feel um, rom coms do not have to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
They don't. They're not expected to, parang come up with a new way they fall in love or come up with a new way to explain why um, personality A falls in love with personality B. I think the expectation from rom coms is more funny moments,
Mm-hmm.
new twists um, to how they'll express their feelings and this and that. And in some ways, that's the shaky ground given the modern sensibilities of how there are a lot of things that used to be seen as romantic that are now seen as disturbing.
Okay.
Diba? Something as simple as, let's say, My Sassy Girl, the Korean movie, which was based on a series of blog stories, if I remember correctly, that was then eventually popular enough to be turned into a movie. You have a girl who gets drunk. The guy takes care of the stranger despite not knowing her. Um, Brings her to the motel to stay because he couldn't take her home, and then there's a lot of her demeaning him or hitting him or slapping him. Um, but then you could see that there's something between them. Nowadays, that can be seen as an ick factor. Na parang, why did you bring that girl there? You're a total stranger. And then
Mm.
there's also the other side of she keeps hitting him. That's that's unhealthy. That's toxic. So it's tricky now because you have to recognize now that you have to make adjustments to the modern sensibilities. Same thing with in the past, guy likes girl or girl likes guy, and then would try to connect without revealing who they really are because of different reasons.
Okay.
This can be classical with what's his name with the big nose.
Cyrano
To
de
yeah,
Bergerac.
but then there's the more modern versions, which includes Mrs. Doubtfire, and in a different lens, some can see that as very toxic and dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
wherein there's a lot of deception involved.
Yes.
So it's a tricky place now for rom coms. But in terms of whether the tropes should be avoided, I feel that the point of tropes is that they're familiar. And
Mm-hmm.
familiar things means they're comfortable, they're friendly. And that's why I feel rom coms shouldn't be afraid of embracing the tropes.
Yeah, because I wonder about it only because like of course so in recent years a lot of rom coms try to stress that they're avoiding the tropes or
Mm-hmm.
that they're very self aware
Mm-hmm.
of the rom com nature. I'm gonna see the rom com nature of things. Excuse me. Um, and that's just it's just interesting. But by constantly trying to avoid the tropes, they're still being defined by
Mm-hmm.
them. Then it's just weird that way.
I mean, some intentionally attack it that way because I feel like this all traces back to Scream. Scream being the horror movie
That
that
was aware. Yeah.
I'll make sure we know it's a horror movie, and I'll, as part of the story, if this were a horror movie, you'd be dead and stuff like that. And that was the point of the humor. So when you look at some of the modern rom coms, well, not so modern for, let's say, Enchanted,
I was gonna
wherein
bring up
it
Enchanted.
was again
self-aware of the
Yeah.
Disney tropes, but
Mm-mm.
also somewhat the rom-com tropes.
And then the twist being, okay, she's really a magical princess, so she literally brings the roaches and the rats to help,
I love
clean
Happy
house.
Working Song.
And that's where I feel, if you look at it, it's still embracing the tropes.
Yeah.
It's just embracing the tropes of a different genre to
Mm.
catch us by surprise.
Mm-mm.
Likewise, you have now some romantic comedies that are also action oriented. So there's a lot of shooting, there's a lot of banter, which you normally see in buddy cop films,
That's true.
but then they're falling in love in the process. So it's this attempt to try to redefine things, but at the same time, by relying on tropes. But
Okay. So bunch of people in. Julius is here, and then Mitch is like, so for rom coms, she likes those shows, movies that show the progression, how they fall in love with each other, rather than it's a given. Also, of course, K dramas, um, and then Mitch also asked, since I rarely watch rom coms, what are one shows or movies that I like? I mean, like I generally the stuff that Toby shows me, while cringy at times, it's like I've generally enjoyed them. But then I don't know if like any particularly stand out recently. I don't know. And then maybe this is when you're gonna fall back um, on lists. Come on, listicles, come true. What you when you're looking at?
so
Okay,
I loaded up a list of the best romance movies as well as a list of rom coms.
okay,
Um,
which is different. Yeah.
yes. So this one's a 200 list. You have a 60 list. I think yours is better.
Well, this one's just rom coms. It's not romance.
Okay. Yeah, but for the rom coms, I have a 200 romantic comedies.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I guess we can jump back and forth and let's talk about the movies and what moments we can think of in those moments.
Okay.
And then,
Oh, yeah,
and then relate them to real life.
and then Mitch, of course, I guess in agreement to like when you're talking about action oriented, then talks about Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she meant to say action scenes, but she also sneezed. No. And then, but Noel says he also is the enchanted type of
Mhm.
rom com. So you do like the pests of New York coming to help you. No, I'm kidding.
So, um, last movie on this list that it's counting up.
Okay.
Love Actually. So in Love Actually, we had a number of different stories of different personalities, all going through whatever their narrative is because of the Christmas season and love. One of the key scenes here is eventually survivor of a zombie apocalypse, Rick Grimes, um, using cards to give his message to try to apologize for having messed things up in a romantic way. Again, a scene which back then was super, oh my gosh, kilig. Now might be seen as, oh my gosh, this guy is like obsessing.
Mm.
So tricky, tricky.
He doesn't have
material now.
boundaries. Okay.
In Love Actually, though, I think I actually liked more the stories of the other characters than this key scene.
Okay. Yeah, because I think of all of them, I like I like the little boy, the little
Yes.
boy falling in love,
Yeah.
having his first love.
And that felt so pure.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
It deserved
yeah.
to be a movie on its own.
Yeah. Okay. On
Yep.
this 50 best rom coms list, number 50 is Bridget Jones' Diary.
Okay. I love that movie less for the killing moments and
Yeah.
more for the relatability of it all.
I think it was relatable and funny, but I don't think I necessarily felt Kilig watching this movie. I don't know if there was a moment.
I know I have friends who were super killing over the, two guys fighting over her. And I'm like, sure. But I wasn't particularly convinced.
Right, so it's definitely a funny movie.
Mhm.
Definitely, there is a romance angle to it. I just don't know if it made me feel kilig, and
Yeah.
maybe other people. I don't know.
I loved it more for the comedy than the romance.
And I think it ties to maybe like when Mitch was saying that you want the build up, and then because so much of the Bridget Jones Diary is being in Bridget Jones's head, and complaining about her life, then that wasn't quite the focus. Black Swan is here and asking what kilig is. Oh, you're a little late. Oh, but then
So just to go back, kilig is a Filipino term for that moment, that rush of sudden emotion that you feel that's both stressful and exciting and fun. Typically, it happens when something is done that is particularly romantic towards you, but at the same time, it can be a feeling you feel when you observe something that tries to hit those same notes.
The weird crass comparison of something similar to but not quite kilig is when you need to pee and you finally pee.
Or the heart fluttering moment.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the one where you end up gasping and going, "Ah."
Yeah, that's
That's the
essentially
feeling
it.
moment.
Okay, what's next on your list?
Next on my list is Ghost. Again, this is the romance, and yours is the rom com list.
Yeah, yeah.
So Ghost, many make the Kilig moment here the pottery scene, but it very quickly ramps away from Kilig and into hot because
It
it's the oh my god, my
it's
darling
messy
moment.
though.
Of course, Rocky finds it messy.
It is. They literally get clay everywhere. It's like, oh.
I always just remember that scene and instead remember the version of it that has a cat doing it. That meme video.
Okay.
Moving on.
This one on my list it's hard because it's the 2012 Much Ado About Nothing, which I have not seen.
Yeah, this was
Or
We
I think
Done.
we did.
No, we saw this.
We saw this. Okay.
This is a We Done adaptation. We weren't particularly fans of it.
Yeah, because I mean, like, one, it's just Shakespeare again. It's one of those Shakespeare dialogue but modern setting. But I
Yeah.
didn't feel like the depiction did anything for it.
Because it was boring. Sorry.
Okay, yes.
Compare it to, let's say, Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Or even his musical episode of Buffy.
Yeah.
That was more entertaining.
Okay. Back to the romance side. I question the definitions here, but sure.
Yeah, these lists are weird.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
As a straight up romance, I'm like,
I don't see the killing moment here. I see the cute moments here, but
Yeah.
I don't see the killing moment here.
yeah, and I always want to hit Michael Cera.
Yeah. And then even Ramona Flowers wasn't exactly the best person in a romantic story to be connected to.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't hit those notes.
she was a
for
little
me.
toxic on herself. Toby's on an
Oh,
Empire article.
Well,
you know?
let's just skip the ones we don't know, just so that we move faster to the ones we do know.
Okay, well, I got a safe one now, which is number 48, My Best Friend's Wedding, which was, hey, it's Julia Roberts again, doing Julia Roberts things. And this is definitely a fun movie. I don't know, but if I can think about a specific kilig moment in the movie, I don't know. I think I get a different fluttering only because I just like it when they sing the moment they wake in the restaurant, which is not
Yeah.
romantic per se.
Sadly, that's the only scene I remember. Also,
But it's like, this is so fun. It's delightful.
that group moment of them singing is the only one I remember in that movie, and I feel bad about that. On a similar note, we have on my list The Wedding Singer. So The Wedding Singer has Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore about the group that it's a romance blooms. The guy does singing. I don't really connect with this movie. I kind of connected more with 51st Dates.
I also don't like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read off a couple of these because I don't know the movies because
Okay.
it's complicated. 2009. It's the Meryl Streep, Steve Martin one, which I'm sure it was okay. It's Meryl Streep, but then I don't know. Muriel's Wedding. Oh, I've never seen this one. It's an
I
Australian
didn't see
movie.
that.
Okay, and then Palm Springs, 2020. Have not seen this one also. While You Were Sleeping. So finally something I can recognize.
So While You Were Sleeping is Sandra Bullock with the girl with the guy who gets into an accident.
Yes.
So she brings him to the hospital.
And then they assume she's the
So
girlfriend.
in many ways, this is like that episode of Friends.
Me,
I don't know time wise. I guess Friends referenced the movie. I'm
No.
not sure.
It's 1995.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
possible.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
possible. Okay.
Yeah, because While You Were Sleeping was such a big thing, and
Yes.
it was during Sandra Bullock's heyday. Um,
But again, creepy. But again, okay.
okay,
And
it's-
I'm not
it's
viewing
it's-
this
it's not
through a
creepy.
modern lens.
It's
I'm
not
like,
creepy.
even at the time, I'm like, why is she hanging around
Yes,
this
yes,
comatose
that's it.
person?
The fact that they hang around is always the weird thing. I
It's like
I could understand if it was you visit every now and then, but the fact that you hang around is kind of scary. Mitch shares Meryl Streep and Steve Martin.
okay, Alec Baldwin is good. Noel also says it's complicated, it's funny.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, it's Meryl Streep. I'll probably get around to
Yeah, if
watching
I
it.
remember, that's the one with they were considering being more adventurous.
I don't remember.
I
Okay, you're because again, you're more likely to watch things in the
Okay,
background.
then we have the anti-romance movie, Sidney Pollack's The Way We Were.
Hey, this is a classic. I don't
I
particularly want go out of my way to see it, but because my mother and my sister would
I
always
don't think I've
watch it.
ever seen it, but
Really?
looking at the still image, I could already see
You've
Noel
never
knitting
seen
these things.
The Way We Were? Oh
No.
my god.
Okay, I've never been a Streisand fan.
You don't have to be a fan. It's just like one of those movies. It's just like
Well, you haven't seen Jaws.
I've seen Jaws.
Oh yeah, you haven't
You
seen
made me
Cujo.
watch
You haven't
Jaws.
seen Cujo.
I haven't seen Cujo. Okay. Okay, then next on my list, okay, wow, they're pulling these out early, is
Yeah.
Sleepless in Seattle.
So Sleepless in
Wow, 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 wow. Are we back? We should be back. Okay.
Yeah, but then I fell in love more with You Got Mail, as disturbing as the fact that he hides his identity for most of the movie is concerned. Only because while Sleepless in Seattle was wonderful with the romance moments, I really just loved the craziness of You Got Mail, everything from him having to hide his name.
We should save
Um,
this because I'm sure it's on the list. But Sleepless in Seattle was okay.
Best soundtrack ever.
Okay. Okay. All right. What you got?
Cyrano, we've already.
Cyrano de Bergerac. I had to watch that for school.
So I'll jump forward to Sliding Doors.
Ooh, sliding doors, which proves the multiverse exists.
Yeah, and I think. Oh my gosh, and she's Pepper Pot.
yes.
But Sliding Doors, I think, registered with me more because of the soundtrack. Because this had Sneaker Pimps, right?
I don't remember the soundtrack. I remember it more because of parallel reality.
And the sliding
That's
doors
what
being
resonated
the
with
train
me.
doors, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, rom coms on my list has the 40-year-old virgin. I don't know why this is here. I mean, like, sure he had but I felt this was more a straight up comedy than a rom com. I feel like it didn't really
Yes.
play to the tropes.
I feel that too.
It made me feel very uncomfortable because it was a lot of like gross out humor
Mhm.
and all that.
Mhm.
But that's the nature of these things.
Then we have on the opposite end of the spectrum, The Notebook with Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams.
I actually haven't seen this, but I have read the book.
It's very art.
Oh my god! Because one is Nicholas Sparks, and then because what happened with me was my mom literally, I think it was message in a I forget if it was message in a bottle or the Notebook, and she gives me the book, and she's like, "See, men can be sensitive too. You should read this." This was
Me,
before I came out.
me
so-
having seen The Notebook, and it's war, romance, blah blah blah. I end up going, Atonement did it better.
That- that's a very complicated movie too. Okay.
But yeah, that's
Noel said sliding doors always the turn back.
sorry.
time.
It's Aqua, not
Yeah.
Sneaker Pimps.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Okay, mine has Chasing Amy,
Ooh.
the Kevin Smith Gen X
Really?
indie rom com with Ben Affleck and Joey Lauren Adams. So it again feels like something that inspired Friends to some degree because it had a guy falling for the lesbian.
I'm not a big fan of Kevin Smith's work, but then he's doing He-Man, so I guess I'll give it a shot. So, okay. My list, I will kind of skip the first. So first it's Roxanne, which is basically Steve Martin does Cyrano de Bergerac. Steve Martin could do anything. Then there's Something Wild, 1986. I have not seen this. Have you seen this? It looks like it's who is that? Jeff Daniels. I don't know
Melanie
this movie.
Griffith.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an old one.
And then what's this? Hamon Hamon, 1992.
Penelope Cruz.
Javier Bardem.
Oh, that was him there? Okay.
Interesting.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but I've heard of it.
I don't know these movies. Heartbeats, 2010.
No.
French Canadian something something. Okay, then it's 10 things I hate about you. Oh, it's
Okay.
already here. It's number 37.
10 Things was great. It's fantastic. It's taming of the
The Taming of
shrew
the Shrew.
in a modern day high school, right? It wasn't college. It was a high school setting. So well done. Such a breakout role, right?
For Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
My sister had a super big crush on him, and so we watched it so many
this
times.
was one of the movies where I realized I was bi
Ah.
because I liked both him and Julia Stiles.
Okay.
And the whole time while watching, I was like, I'm so confused. Why am I so turned on by both?
So, what is your Kilig moment from this movie?
The grandstand.
It's gonna be
The grandstand.
It's the singing
It's
in
the
the grandstand.
Yeah. That's like just yeah.
I love you, baby.
And then the band starts playing along.
But then he's also being chased by the security and he has to
Yeah.
run. Okay, yeah, good moment. Good moment.
Very good moment.
Okay, what'd you
On
get?
my list, A Star Is Born. Sorry, Lady Gaga fans.
We still haven't watched this.
And to be honest,
Not.
I'm not compelled.
I
to.
don't feel the urge to watch it.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, but I just don't feel it. Okay, Noel, we're coming from the end of the list, and
So
that
I guess
may be why.
I feel like the 80s are gonna be like in the
Yes.
peak period.
Moving forward in mind a few steps because you've been Madaya, you've been skipping. I have
But we agreed we're gonna skip the ones we don't know.
the Titanic.
Titanic, no the.
Okay, so the movie is Titanic. Um, do you have a Kilig moment for this movie?
No, I just thought it was awesome that they recreated the Titanic. I enjoyed this as a nerd.
I feel terrible that my fond memory of Titanic is again because of the meme. The one where they're spinning while dancing with the people who live in the lower class
And then
areas.
you imagine an animal
And then they replace it with a cat
or a dog or whatnot.
That's
Okay.
my favorite moment. But I
Um,
never understood this I'm flying moment with the hands raised. It always felt well, maybe it was a period thing.
Noel
That's why I don't get
cites you should watch Streisand's A Star Is Born. Black Swan asked Streisand or Garland. This one was the Lady Gaga one, so take it as you will.
Romeo and Juliet. Oh, sorry. Officially, it's William Shakespeare's
Romeo plus
Romeo
Juliet.
plus Juliet. So this was the Baz Luhrmann movie, which so many people found divisive in the sense that what is he doing to this classic? But oh my god, it's such a good one. And because this was around the same time as Batman Returns, right? No, Batman Forever. I think if I remember
What a
correctly.
comparison.
No,
Okay,
yeah, but
I
if
don't
remember
remember.
correctly when this movie came out around the same time was Credit Card Batman and Nichols. So it was such a freak out moment for me if I remember the time correctly.
1996, and then Batman Forever. 1995.
So yeah, it was around the same.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I love this. Um, but I wasn't particularly killing. I just love the spectacle of it all.
Well, because it's Romeo and Juliet, and so like I mean, like by
Hey, is Romeo and Juliet a romantic story for you? I never thought it was. I thought it
it's
was
a
always
romantic tragedy.
For me, it was always a tragedy. It wasn't a romance.
It is an idealized young love, innocence, whatever, crossing.
Yeah, but
boundaries.
it's stupid love, so it's not romantic.
A lot of love is stupid.
Not true.
You should know this, Mr. Romcom.
Yeah, but,
But-
it wasn't funny. That's why again it falls under it's too serious. So I feel.
So I
wrong.
feel like though that because of the nature of because it's Shakespeare and it's like using the text, then it was hard to appreciate it as a new thing because it was an old text. Which is what made Moulin Rouge naman so distinct because it
Mm-mm.
was a whole original story told with familiar songs. And that was great. And I don't have a Kilig moment from Romeo plus Juliet, but oh my god, Young Hearts Run Free.
That scene was fun.
It awoken things in me.
Yeah.
Like I like this life,
And-
That's sort of a
And
feeling.
it was so unashamed. It was so in your face. I'll be in this outfit. I'll have my wigs. I'll have my beard, and I shall
Yes,
sing my heart
it
out.
was like I don't think I fully appreciated at the time what it represented, but it was super like oh my god, what is this? Because
Mhm.
he was also Mercutio, who is
Yeah.
like one of the most sought after roles in this play because he has the best soliloquies, that Prince of Cats, Um, and yeah, so when I came back to seeing it over the years, it's like, this is awesome. This is amazing.
So
Okay.
Mitch just shares the part in Titanic where the old couple hugs as the boat is sinking. Again, that's depressing for me and not Kilig. Um, there's more mentions of the other movies. We're
Okay.
hoping to get to those, so we'll keep going and we'll see if those do appear.
Sorry, I'm like taking some time to block some of the Bacarisa's.
Okay, while you're doing
Bots.
that, I'll skip a few others listed here. There's the obvious child, not familiar. Um, there's others that we've seen earlier. There's truly, madly, deeply, which lists it as think ghost but British.
Oh, it has nothing to do with like what's this Savage Garden?
No, but it's Alan Rickman who returns to life in a supernatural form to go back to Juliet Stevenson's Nina. So there's a lot of chemistry, but it's also a tragic story because he's dead. Never saw it. I don't think I will.
Okay,
yours.
we're skipping a lot of comments. Sorry. So Kenny was also asking what non-canon ships makes you guys kilig. I guess we'll park that and we'll get there
We'll get back
eventually.
to that.
Black Swan. People didn't like Romeo and Juliet. A lot of people liked it, but then it was also like, I think from a critic circle perspective, they didn't know how to take it because like it was a weird reinterpretation of Shakespeare.
I mean, I think the closest analogy to that would be if someone got something very massa and then released it as a full classic serious piece, because that's what they felt like. Romeo and Juliet, for something super serious and
Made it
high
super
class.
mass.
Why
Yeah.
was it suddenly gangs in modern clothes with? It was disturbing for many.
Okay. Next on my list, I don't know again. Gregory's Girl, 1981. Do you know this one?
No,
Okay.
keep
And
going.
then, oh, Princess Bride. Why is it in a rom com list? I don't know this is a rom com.
It's so strange. I wouldn't count it as a rom com. I'd count it actually still more as a fantasy film
Yes,
that
with a
has
romance story
yeah,
in it.
and comedy in it.
Okay. I can go back to yours.
Up. So Up. Oh my
I think they're
god.
just talking about the beginning of Up.
But that beginning accomplishes so much more than most movies have with their
That
entire
is true.
period. But that 5 minute opening and Up is an incredible story of love. Um, and you do get those killing moments watching it, and then you're immediately stabbed in the heart afterwards.
I know. Like, they don't have kids. Oh. And then, oh no, dead. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Next on my list, we're back in the Julia Roberts world because it's Notting Hill, 1999.
And that's I think that was Key Hugh Grant, no?
Yes, this was super like. I guess we're all into awkward British people. And the whole I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her, and that was
Oh,
okay.
okay. My brain was mixing it with Runaway Bride. Sorry.
We already covered
I
Runaway
know, I know,
Bride.
but when we were talking about, for some reason, I was thinking that because they all blur together for me. Julia Roberts movie.
That is true though, and I think that's also like it was diminishing returns. Like I don't know if she was funnier in Friends.
And then I think the only Julia Roberts thing that I really appreciated um, was that one where she's a con artist.
And not Friends.
No, no, no.
Because she did Con Chandler.
No. She was a con artist in this other one with Clive Owen, and it was a lot of
Okay.
um,
Okay.
a lot of heisty banter.
Okay.
Okay, mine has African Queen. I'm not familiar. Carol. So we've seen Carol.
We have. I think you have.
Okay, just me then. It's an intense movie. It was a period piece, very heavy. Then there's the Big Sick.
Haven't seen this also.
I don't think we've seen this, which has um, Kumail Nanjiani. Okay, Say Anything. Finally, we have a Cameron Crowe movie, and Say Anything has John Cusack holding the the radio up.
This felt slow to me.
I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
I'll have to admit, I wasn't a fan of this one.
Okay.
Maybe also because I didn't like him, so I
Maybe
didn't connect.
no, but he was okay. Then he was better in the Cutting Edge, which was already mentioned in the comments. Okay. Next on my list is The Long Shot 2019. I don't know this movie. It's a Seth Rogen thing.
Charlize Theron. I think this was the he didn't have a chance of being with her, but she was in politics.
Okay, this list is really weird. Timeout.com. I disagree with you. Why is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind on a rom com list?
Very odd list. Very odd sense of what's comedy for
And
those
then it
people.
cites Top Hat, which is Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. It's like, I don't know. And then, okay, then The Wedding Singer,
Which
but
we touched
you
on.
already touched on.
So
Okay.
here we have Dirty Dancing. So that rehearsal, of course, was the highlight of the movie, more than the actual finale for me.
Then In the Water?
Mm.
Or are you mixing it up with the Ryan Gosling movie?
No, that's different. But yeah, it's
The
there.
time of your life.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
just didn't like that she had those shoes on.
Okay. This list cites The Purple Rose of Cairo, which is a Woody Allen movie, but I'm not really a fan of Woody Allen movies.
Mhm.
Especially to treat them as a rom com. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, Mitch mentions, parang alam ko yung corporate espionage na kay Julia Roberts. Duplicity, according to Noel.
Duplicity. Okay, I
Yes.
haven't seen that.
So going back, Shaun of the Dead is listed.
As a romance,
I think it's not a romance again. It might be a more a rom com than a romance.
but even then, I don't think
It's
the
still not.
romance
It's
was
still
like
not.
at the center of the
Yeah,
story.
it's really more a comedy that has some romantic touches.
Mm-mm.
Then we have 500 Days of Summer. Oh, 500 Days of Summer, the often referenced, wrongly understood movie.
Another good soundtrack.
Great visuals, fantastic characterizations. But guys, if you think it's a romance, you didn't get the movie.
Ba-bam. Okay, my list continues to go into weird territory because it has But I'm a Cheerleader from 1999. I don't know what this movie is. And then it goes really old again with Gold Diggers of 1933, which of course was released in 1933. I get Say Anything again. His Girl Friday 1940. Okay, but
Yeah, really. Well, it's okay. I see now. The list is of all time. That's why we're going really
yeah.
old.
Oh, and then I get to Four Weddings and a Funeral, which was like the earlier Hugh Grant before Notting Hill.
So I didn't watch that movie till much later
Okay, I mean, same. I didn't watch it when
because
it
the
came out.
title always made me think it was some sort of weird horror film, and it didn't interest me.
Wait, how could that a weird horror film not interest
It's
you?
weddings. Who wants a horror about weddings?
Wouldn't you?
If it was like,
Because it merges genres for you. It's like horror and
well, if it was
wedding.
like four witches and a funeral, okay, maybe I'd be more interested. So yeah, it didn't really connect with me.
Ha! Mitch says she can give a list for K drama. That's gonna be one we're really not gonna be able to relate to,
Yeah,
but we can help.
actually, the tricky part with K dramas and Korean comedies is we may have seen some. I've seen some. Um, I don't dare say the names.
um. Oh, and then Black Swan explains, "But I'm a Cheerleader" is a queer film. Okay, okay, but I don't know. Would you consider it a rom com? Okay.
Mhm.
All right,
So
go.
so I have on my list La La Land.
I love La La Land, but I don't know if it really was. I mean, okay, because the whole movie is an ode to old Hollywood.
Mhm.
Then yes, romances were often the center of old Hollywood stories.
Mhm.
So it does have a very strong romance at the center of it. And I love this. I love this movie. And
Very well done. Very deceptive.
mm,
Accomplishes in one movie what the Infinity movies tried to do in three.
and once again proves the existence of the multiverse.
Oh man, such a good one. Okay, moving forward, skipping the ones we've discussed earlier.
What
Okay,
secretary?
so there's once. Huh?
What secretary? You skipped secretary.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's why I skipped it.
Okay.
So there's once, which is a musical that was not known by most. But I actually know of this because of the soundtrack.
Yeah, you meet a lot of movies this way, and and for context, it's like Toby would because of running RPGs to which he likes to add musical scoring,
Mhm.
often collects movie official soundtrack albums, and thus that's always a mix of lyrical songs, whether popular or
Hmm.
original for the movie, and scores. And so yeah, so he has a lot of things like this where he's like he encounters that sort of thing.
So quickly, just going through the comments because we don't want to let you guys feel like we don't know you're still there. Noel does mention I remember crazy stupid love scene. Yes. Both of course talk about 500 Days of Summer. Noel mentions When Harry Met Sally. We're assuming that's near the
I
top
hope it's
20.
somewhere
We're hoping
here.
it's in the top 20. Mitch is already volunteering to be part of the discussion for
I feel
the.
like your K drama deserves its own episode. Just
Yes.
saying. Okay.
Okay, so let's continue.
I go old again because it's The Apartment with Jack Lemmon. I haven't seen this
I
one, but
haven't.
ooh, Shirley MacLaine. Guys and Dolls, also old, 1955. Don't know this one, but it was Marlon Brando,
Mhm.
surprisingly. There's something about Mary.
So I think everyone remembers this movie only because of the
Jizz in
hair,
her
the
hair.
hair scene.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember anything anymore beyond that, to be honest.
I didn't because I didn't really like these things. I didn't like the gross out cringe humor, and then I
Mhm.
didn't get into it when everybody was getting into it. So, but then I know I've seen it at least once, but it didn't like do anything for me.
So I have The Shape of Water. I don't know if this would really count as a romantic film, but they do have a very strong connection, the girl and the fish guy in this movie.
Mm, mm.
I don't know though if it felt romantic for me.
I
It
thought
felt
they were
fantastic.
trying to convey that to some degree, but yeah, because it definitely very fantastical.
And I always still just because he kept eating these eggs, right? So it just bothered me. I don't know. I guess I
Okay.
was just think of it too real.
My list has The Lady Eve in 1941, which is a classic. I just don't know. I mean, because these older movies didn't quite like don't follow what we think of as rom coms in a modern sense, and I don't know. I don't know. Moonstruck, 1987. I think I know this more by reputation than the movie itself because it has Cher.
And Nicolas Cage,
Oh yeah.
a very young Nicolas Cage.
My list is still weird. 1947. I know where I'm going. Don't know this movie. Smiles of a Summer Night. 1955. Don't know this movie. The Shop Around the Corner. 1940. I'm pretty sure my mom has seen a lot of these
Oh,
things.
interestingly, it was loosely remade as You Got Mail.
The Shop Around the Corner. Oh, okay, okay. Bringing Up Baby. Oh my God. 1938. It's Hepburn. That's
Hmm.
good stuff. Oh, and then I finally at number 14 on my list. It's finally Pretty Woman. Did you feel kilig with Pretty Woman?
Um, when I saw it, yes, because at that age, which was much younger,
Okay.
it was a wow, rich guy really getting into nobody girl. So parang there's that, the prince in a real life setting type of feeling.
Richard Gere.
But I didn't like Richard Gere. I don't
Yeah.
know. He always felt old to me,
I think my
even in his younger
challenge
years.
my challenge with Pretty Woman is that I eventually watched it because I had a classmate who super loved this movie and loved Julia Roberts, and he could quote dialogue, especially like full hooker mode
Hmm.
Julia Roberts and whatever ho yo yo catch this whatnot when they were at the car. So then it kind of just blurred this whole thing. Like I'm watching the movie, but he's reciting the movie and like what's going on. So I think that took away from the mystique for me. Um, Mitch is asking, wala ba dyan barefoot in the park? Have not seen it. And then, I mean, in the list. And then Noel's like, he doesn't like Ben Stiller, but he liked them on his Friends episodes. Yeah, I get that feeling about Ben
Yeah, I
Stiller.
only
It's
liked him
tricky.
in Zoolander.
Toby loves Zoolander. Okay.
Okay, there's her, the Joaquin Phoenix falling in love with the
Scarlett Johansson.
with the Black Widow on the phone. I don't think we've seen this. Have we seen this?
I have. Shouldn't we have seen it together? I don't think I would have watched this without you.
It doesn't. Well, I guess it didn't connect with me that much.
Hmm.
There's the Cold War. Um,
Okay, it's Polish.
yeah, and then there's God's Own Country. I don't know this movie.
It looks like a foreign gay movie. I don't know. I'm just looking at the
Yeah,
poster.
it probably is. Then Long Shot shows up
Wow, people
again.
really like the long
Okay,
shot.
so we have Call Me by Your Name.
Oh no, we don't like this movie. We don't like this story.
So again, it falls under movies which we feel are more cringe than not. But again, I guess that's the same perspective now that I should recognize when some people look at rom coms and go, "Oh, that's cringe,"
Mm-mm.
and I'm
Mm-mm.
like, it's just funny. Here, man, it's like it's just a fantasy, romance, sexual awakening thing. But for me, no, it's cringe.
So yeah, it really depends on like how you receive it, I guess, or how
Mhm.
you experience movie. But I know when Toby and I watch, it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
Mm. Which I hope we have gotten rid of enough that we will be able to watch Dune and not worry.
Well, that's okay because very early in the movie, she's gonna hold a blade, a needle to his neck.
Yeah, but I hope he doesn't
Pain,
I hope it doesn't remind me of
pain.
what's his name, Elio.
That's not his. That's the guy, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh, he was Ali. Okay, okay. I see. I mixed him up. All right. Wow. I have 1939 Ninochka. Don't know this movie. Okay. The Big Sick again comes up. Wow, people. These are these movies that people really like, and we haven't seen. Or have you seen this one? It's the Indian
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
I know.
Emily Gordon, Kumail Najani. Okay, I don't know. Clueless.
Okay.
Would you consider Clueless a rom com? You were like the hands
I'd
up.
say yes.
Okay.
Um, it Paul Rudd was just adorable in that movie. I can totally relate to the highway scene.
What do you mean the highway scene? Oh, the panicking on the highway?
Mm,
Yeah, that's true. That's
that
very
was
Toby.
very true.
That's very Toby.
But then my brain always now mixes this with the musical Legally Blonde
Why? Why this jump?
because it's the same guy as far as my brain is concerned. It's the same
That is
person.
true, and they're both kind of,
Ditzy girl.
and they're
Vibe.
both associated with higher education.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brain mixes that up.
Okay. Funnily, like on YouTube, Black Swan aside, he just knows the jewelry box moment in reference to Pretty Woman, and then Mitch says, "Pretty Woman, yung jewelry box scene." So different, rather the same thing. Um, Noel's like, wala sa some very special love. Obviously, these are very Western lists.
Mhm.
Unless we went back to the eight,
Actually, that was the
list
list we were.
PH.
Yeah, that was the list we were looking at earlier.
But then
Okay.
we all the more we didn't recognize.
So
things.
moving forward, Crazy Stupid Love comes up, which was the one you were saying.
Yes.
The Ryan Gosling one. He took his shirt off, so of course this gets more points.
I mean, like I wasn't super into Ryan Gosling before this point, but then
Mm.
like, okay, he really executed this character very well, and he looks great without a shirt.
Mhm. And Crazy Stupid Love is the movie I then blend with 40-year-old version because of Steve
Because of Steve Carell.
Yes.
Okay, okay, but he was a lot more confident in this movie.
Yeah, but that's my brain. See, that's the problem in my brain.
Ooh, okay, we have It Happened One Night, 1934. Okay, then this is like, uh, where are we? Oh, okay, but then it goes to Roman Holiday, 1953.
This is number 9 on Rocky's list.
I still don't know if I would consider it a rom com, but it's Audrey Hepburn. This movie is a classic.
Mhm. Never seen it.
We should do a
We
do
should
a
watch
Hepburn day. We should do a Hepburn day.
On mine, it's Groundhog Day. Okay, very well done movie.
I think it definitely fits more on my list than yours.
Yeah, it's more a rom com. But again, for the movie as it is in terms of story, adorable. But to consider the reality of it, the guy is like crazy, scary, because he reaches a point where he breaks and he now tries to kill himself so many times, and then he ends up giving up. So I'm very scared of a more realistic perspective of the character in this movie.
I just like
So I
forever
just
now.
embrace
I
it
got
as-
you, babe. I got you, babe.
The alarm clock.
Yeah. Oh, no,
But
little
this
hand in
movie,
mine.
this falls under the don't
Don't
think of
think
it.
too deeply.
Yeah, just enjoy it and it's okay.
Okay. I'm at number 8, and it's Show Me Love, which is, I guess, a Swedish lesbian movie.
Never seen it.
Not seen this one. And then we're really going classic. Philadelphia Story, 1940. Oof, okay. Catherine Hepburn. Um, oh no, it's all the way here. Number 6 is Punch Drunk Love. So high on the list. I'm not happy. Go back to yours.
Yeah, I'm weirded out.
Oh wait,
Okay.
I went to Groundhog Day as number 5, so it's on my list. Okay, go back. Go back.
Okay, mine down at number 13. Well, up at number 13 is Brokeback Mountain in terms of romantic movies.
Definitely a romance.
So,
Yes.
um, so I feel confused about this movie, not because the characters were confused, um, but
It's not an idealized romance for sure, and
yeah, it's not
it's
idealized.
very tortured.
The two actors are fantastic at it.
Yes.
You really believe their personalities. You really believe the characters. Um, that painful moment is really painful.
Did not
I
feel
never,
Kilig.
I never expected to feel so much pain from a hanger.
Mm.
That was very well done. But then the moment that should have been kilig or sexy for me bothered me
Mm.
because it was dry and I couldn't embrace that.
That okay. Back. Okay, but yes,
Ang Lee
Ang
was
Lee.
so good in
And
doing
I
this one.
loved Heath Ledger's portrayal. It was so nuanced,
Hmm.
and the whole. I mean, he had a very particular way of speaking, and then
Hmm.
over time, I know I watched behind the scenes stuff where, uh, he literally because he would talk like out of the side of his mouth, and then as things progressed, he would not open his mouth even more
Hmm.
to show the conflict and the burying himself even deeper and
Hmm.
hiding his self. So it's like, oh my god, that was smart. That was very smart. Okay. Number 4 on my list is something I don't recognize because it's A Matter of Life and Death from 1946.
Not familiar.
Michael Power, Emmerich Pressburger's dizzying wartime fantasy. And then Harold and Maude, 1971.
Nope.
Romantic relationship between a suicide assessed teenager and an 80-year-old woman he meets at a funeral. Someone was very pretentious in making this list. Okay, then it goes to Annie Hall. Again, I'll say that I'm not a big Woody Allen fan. Annie Hall is a good movie. It does, I suppose, have certain rom com esque traits to it, like some of the structures. But in the end, it's like it's a Woody Allen
I
movie.
never connected with Woody Allen movies. Woody Allen
It's a lot of
movies
talking, a
makes
lot of neurotic talking. You
it
know,
makes me think of the times when we were hanging out with friends who just love to sound smart.
love the sound of their own voice. Yes,
And that's what those movies feel like for me. That's why I don't enjoy them.
it's a lot of people on Twitter.
Um,
Oh,
moving through my list, Breakfast at Tiffany's,
I love Breakfast at Tiffany.
Amelie.
Oh, I'm so happy that's on your list.
Amelie was really well done, visually stunning. A lot of killing moments, and this is one of the movies where the killing moments were not romantic moments.
That's true.
They were like, uh, they were just moments that made you go,
Delight,
yeah. And
wonder,
she
whimsy,
carried that.
magic. Her imagining, understanding how many people are having orgasms at this moment in the city.
Mhm.
Oof, that was like oddly killing. That's delightful.
And then the box when she was trying to find the
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. Moving forward, Jerry Maguire is in this list. That
You
you
complete
complete me
me.
line and you had me at hello.
Help me, help you.
Then we have Before Sunset. I'm surprised this has only appeared now.
Well, it's high in the list, so I guess that's respectful.
but I was expecting the other one earlier.
Mm.
It's okay. I kind of was happy with Before Sunrise. I was happy with that, and I didn't have to see the rest. But that's me.
I have
Maybe I'll
not seen Before Sunrise.
maybe I'll appreciate it more when I see it.
Oh, your list also has Annie Hall. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
I'll jump to the next one. It's True Romance. Gary Oldman and Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. I don't think I've seen this, and I don't think I want to.
Hmm.
Princess Bride, we've mentioned it
I don't
earlier.
mind it
For
there.
Weddings, we mentioned it earlier. Brief Encounter, mentioned it earlier. Casablanca.
Oh, Casablanca. Okay, that's a. I mean, it's a classic also in itself, and um, I guess it's a good romance. It was also a spy story.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like a intrigue war story. We have the same number one.
So our number one on both lists is When Harry Met Sally.
You know, I was a little underwhelmed when I finally watched this. I mean, like, because by the time I watched it, it had been so often talked about as, oh
Mhm.
my god, this is an amazing movie, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
But then, so when I watched it, I was underwhelmed because the hype had gotten built up so much. I'm disappointed that neither list has You've Got Mail because I like You've Got Mail.
Mhm.
I really did like You've Got
I'm
Mail
surprised we're missing the
and the whole '80s
yeah,
period.
we're missing the 80s period.
Okay, let me look for a less pretentious list.
Okay, while you're doing that, I shall talk about this other list, which is, oh, sorry, before we that, let's go back to the comments to the ones we skipped because there were stuff that was brought up that wasn't at the list. Okay, there was mention of the cutting edge.
My sister was obsessed with the cutting
Yes, I was
edge.
about to say this is the one your sister.
So it's like I came to appreciate it over time and just think too big, too big. So that was like it was okay.
Mitch mentioned serendipity. So this is John Cusack again. I really
It was
don't
that
get.
John Cusack. It's like right up there with like wasn't that was he also Must Love Dogs or who was that someone else or that I can't
Yeah, I think.
remember.
Yeah, but I remember him from Identity.
Okay,
Okay. Um, Noel mentions remember dancing to that song in Giraffe. I presume it's the
Young Heart
song.
Strong Feet.
Yeah.
Young Heart.
Um, if you could read my mind for Jocelyn Enriquez. Okay. Ultimate Pretty Woman, Duplicity. Okay, we mentioned those earlier. La La Land and the Dog. The box scene. Sorry, no local films like A Very Special Love, Sarah Geronimo, and John Lloyd.
Okay, I have a Vanity Fair list from 2018, which is a little, but I think it's not bad. So it's 25 only rom coms. Is it rom? Yeah, it's rom coms. So number 25 here is My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay, that was good.
That was a fun movie, and we fell in love with Nia Vardalos, and
Mhm.
then of course it led us to Connie and Carla.
Mhm.
So which is not a rom com, but it's just a good movie. See, and then Something's Gotta Give is on this
Okay, I
list.
enjoyed that, and I know it gets some flack with, I think
Jack Nicholson.
how it treats the gay character,
Oh no,
right?
you are now mixing this up
Oh, I'm
with
mixing it
As
with
Good as It Gets.
As Good as It. I'm sorry, that's my brain.
Okay, Kissing Jessica Stein. Again, it's like I know this by reputation, but I haven't seen this one.
Mhm.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay, that was fun. That was a fun movie.
It's like I could tolerate Matthew McConaughey in this
And
movie.
it kind of tried to surprise you and twist the tropes around.
It was one of those early like let's change the rom com twists.
Noel asked, "Where is Birdcage? I know it should be there.
But is the Birdcage a rom com?
It has a rom com element to it because it does have the focus on that romance that has to be fixed.
Okay.
But it wasn't the focus of the story, so I guess no.
Oh my god. People upset. Okay, Some Kind of Wonderful again is here. I'm really not familiar with this movie. Annie Hall is
that's
here
the
again.
drummer, right?
Huh? Eric Stoltz as Keith, an army outcast. Mary Stuart Matterson's Watts, his tomboyish best friend. Leah Thompson's Amanda Jones, beautiful, popular, but poor.
Yeah, that's the drummer.
Okay, I don't know this movie.
The blonde girl was a drummer.
Ooh. And then it
Yeah,
cites,
see, drumsticks.
then it cites the 1993 Much Ado About Nothing. Which again, it's like, It's Shakespeare. What can you do? But oh my god, this was a star-studded cast.
I like that one.
Yeah, and it was really like
I did not expect Keanu Reeves.
it was the early. That is true. It's the early period of Kenneth Branagh. Like fuck it, I'm doing Shakespeare movies. I'm
Uh,
gonna do period forever.
I loved her on the swing,
Okay. Okay. Yes.
and I did not expect all the naked men in the shower moment.
Okay.
But the Keanu Reeves moment was what broke me.
Did it make you go whoa? Okay. 18 on this list is Emily. Good choice. The apartment again comes up. Okay. I really my god. Okay. For weddings and a funeral. Sure. Moonstruck again. Oh my god. People really love the Cher movie.
Mhm.
40-year-old virgin. Okay. Down with Love is on this list. Do you approve, Toby?
I got disappointed.
I
was-
did too.
I wanted to.
I
love
wanted
it.
to like it more because I like classic
And then
movie
and
musical
then Ewan
styles.
McGregor was kind of a hot commodity at that time. And then that was with Renee, right?
Yes, yes.
So
It was post isn't it post
Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones, yeah.
So I really wanted to like this, but I was disappointed.
But you see, my problem with Bridget Jones is it always seems like she's eaten a lemon like whole. She's been sucking on a lemon. Or there's like a micro black hole that's pulling her face
Oh
into
my
a
gosh!
spot.
Now that reminds me of when she resurfaced without her bangs, and no one recognized it was her. That was a shocking moment.
Okay, Girl Friday again is on this list.
Mitch mentions Hacked is that movie in the British. They almost hooked up no graduation, but then it goes through decades on BFF sila. Then later they get
Oh my
married,
god.
and she died in a bicycle accident.
What is this movie? I'm not familiar with this at all, but
It, al- it,
that's an amazing summary.
it almost sounds like The Promise. Only instead of the bicycle accident, it's a car accident, and there's a painting, right?
Okay. Best Friend's Wedding is here again. We talked about it in the previous list. Sleepless in Seattle is here again. Broadcast News. Oh, that's a bit of a surprise.
I don't think I've seen that.
Bit of a surprise. Okay, yeah. 1987. All right. Then It Happened One Night again comes here. So but I feel like it's rom-com in the sense of farcical, but that's fine. Notting Hill is here again. Groundhog Day is here again. 10 Things is here again.
Mhm.
Bridget Jones is surprisingly high on this list.
Mhm.
Clueless is here again. Oh, okay, it's that generation. You've Got Mail is here finally.
Rank 2.
Rank 2. Oh, because number 1 is always When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, I think that's.
Do people really like When Harry Met
I think
Sally?
they feel obligated to list it as the number one. Sort of like how in the past, whenever you talk about sci-fi fantasy movies, it has to be Star Wars.
Mm.
But of course, now you have Marvel, you have Lord of the Rings, all of that fighting for that place. So it's going to be hard now. Sort of also like how when you talk about horror, it always had to be Jaws before. But,
But okay, so let's talk about You've Got Mail. Because you started and then I stopped you, assuming it was on the list. Then it was on neither of our first lists. So let's talk about You've Got Mail. What did you like about You Got Mail the most?
I think Tom Hanks is always good.
Okay.
He's fantastic in playing his roles. Um, and I felt he was so much more earnest in this movie than anything. Maybe because he could relate to the role more as someone who's like super wealthy and now has to pretend he's not super wealthy just to be with this girl.
Okay.
Meg Ryan, on the other hand, is adorable. She always plays that role so well, which is why someone has to cast her to be a supervillain someday in the Marvel Cinematic
Oh
Universe.
God.
Just because people will think she's the nice girl.
Which villain?
Meg Ryan as the I don't know. I don't know, but she has to be a villain.
What is this? Basta she's a villain. Enchantress? I don't know.
It has to be a villain who you'll think is good at first, or someone nice, and then turns out to be the villain,
Okay. That's a very particular mold
Yeah.
you want for
or like
her.
a very old Dazzler. Anyway, but yeah,
And then like I like this because at the time it felt like such a oh wow, they're really trying to explore also some very interesting, very time specific situations. One was the whole getting to know someone online,
Mhm.
right? It was a weird exploration
Talking about
of meeting people
yeah.
online, but it was through email.
Mhm.
Because now, when you look at, I mean, the movie is already very dated
Mhm.
by modern standards because now it's all dating apps and whatnot. But just the whole exchanging of emails thing, and that was brilliant. And then the depiction of the big store destroying the smaller
Yes,
store,
yes, that was a
which
great.
was like, oh my
And I'm
gosh.
happy it didn't get a happily ever after ending. Na
Yeah.
parang the store will still stay and it
Yes.
made sense that it would shut down and maybe she'll work for the conglomerate, which is a terrible, sad thing. But that's how the world is sometimes. Um,
And I forget, was it Barnes and Noble in the movie? No, it was a fictional.
it
It
was
was a
Fox,
something.
right?
Oh, Fox. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
FOX. Fox. And that was the one of the moments in the.
Okay, before we leave fiction, are there any rom coms you want to bring up that you feel like you want to talk about that stand out for you?
So you have a bunch of the ones I got you to see that aren't on the list because no way are they going to be in the top 10
Your
list.
list is bizarre.
So you have Sydney White, which was the retelling of the.
Okay, is this really a rom com? Because you just like it when they go hi ho.
But it is. And then you have, of course,
So, okay, for context, for the people, the probably many people who don't know what Sydney White is, it's this in the same way that Clueless is really Emma by Jane Austen, and
mhm.
10 Things I Hate About You is really The Taming of the Shrew. Sydney White is a teen movie, but Snow White.
It's based on the story of Snow White, but sort of approach to the modern day sensibility. It's a dumb movie.
Super dumb.
It's not
Super
meant.
dumb.
It's not meant to be smart in any way, but it's still a fun movie.
Because the dwarves were nerds, right? Or
Yeah,
something? Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
and it was one of the many
An Amanda Bynes
Amanda
movie. And it
Bynes
was this is
movies.
really the period of like, who is this person I am getting involved with? We were already living together, but the time you start to make me watch these movies, it's like,
The other one is She's the Man,
who just Amanda Bynes again, right?
and then there's Easy A, which is the Scarlet Letter,
Yes, because Scarlet Letter.
but again Amanda Bynes. She's the Man was 12th Night.
Yes, because she literally becomes a guy. But Easy A is not. I mean, she wasn't the lead in Easy A.
Yeah, but
That
it was one
was
of the
Emma Stone.
movies that we. It was among the movies we started going.
Yes, yes, because there's a whole string of like, what are these teen rom coms that you're making me watch?
There's one more. I'm trying to find it.
The time one,
The Luck one.
the luck one. Okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. But I don't think that was Amanda Bynes anymore. But it was Chris Pine.
Yeah, it was Chris Pine.
Okay. Noel says, um, ayoko yung papakiligan ako and then papapayakin ako in the end, which
Just
is like
My
My
Luck.
Girl.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, just my luck. Okay, okay. And then One Day ni Anne Hathaway. Oh, that's Mitch shares that. Then of course Noel also was just asking why isn't Easy A on the list. So there we have Easy A. On Toby's recommended list.
Looking now at more generic lists of romance movies, some of the ones that were not mentioned. There's Chocolat, which was nice. Juliette Binoche and Johnny Depp. Frankie and Johnny was fun. I remember enjoying this one. Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer. Um, Music and lyrics. Remember that one?
I remember it, but not notably. I watched it before we got together, but didn't mean I liked it.
It was interesting because it tried to. It felt like a Eurovision movie.
And now there literally is a Eurovision
Which
movie.
has the same beats, if you think about it.
Yes.
Um, then you had some of the other more. You have 13 going on 30, because that was the time when Jennifer Gardner was like the big name on movies.
And then like after what she was Alias, diba? Then
Hmm.
because like years of Alias, and then let's do rom coms. Okay, that was a strange twist.
And then we start going to the gross out comedy era.
Yeah.
Everything,
Ben Stiller heralded this
the
era.
Ben Stiller, then eventually the Seth
Rogen's.
Rogen series of movies. Okay, so moving beyond romance, just so that we touch on all the topics. Thought Catalog has a number of
Oh,
everyday.
okay. Wait. I'm sorry. It's a good list. We'll go to that. I want to touch on one thing first
Okay,
before we go,
okay,
which is some of the recent rom coms that seem to be going back to the classic formula,
okay.
but are not quite there. So I will get. Let's discuss your opinion on things like what's this? To all the boys I loved before.
Okay, that was fun. Admittedly, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
I expected you to like it.
I was
So
thinking it'd be dumb, but it was dumb fun.
all in my head, many of your rom coms are dumb. Hi ho.
I could have done without the family drama moments on that padlock.
Okay. Okay.
That felt parang,
That was a little contrived.
yeah, but I like that one.
Mitch Sites Holiday.
Holiday was the one wherein they're the date whenever it's a holiday thing, and
Yes.
they
Yes.
eventually fall together.
Yes.
Um, I could not believe that was their agreement, given how they look. It seemed like the most contrived thing for them to agree upon, considering if you look that way, I mean, both of them look that way, and you have that connection already. Okay,
Oh wait, how about the sequel of To All the Boys I Love? Did you think it needed a sequel?
not really,
Mm.
but hmm, I
What's
don't
that?
know.
What's this?
Because it tried to be relevant, right? It tried to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
going to college and independence and ganyan, but I don't know.
Oh, Noel's like the holidays, the one where they exchange houses. Yes, this is also a movie, but we were referring to the Netflix one, the
Holiday.
Holiday. Okay, and then we watched this one, Always Be My Maybe, which was the hey,
I
it's the guy from Fresh Off the Boat.
I think we only like this one for the cameo of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and then
Right?
like
No, that was Keanu Reeves. The
and then
date.
like and then like independently, Ali Wong is funny
Yeah,
and
but parang they.
he's funny.
How do I put it? I guess we were too much thinking of them as them and not as the roles, so it
Hmm.
didn't really click as well as we wanted it to.
Set it up, which was whoa, Lucy Liu is making a movie, but she's still a bitch. And then Tay Diggs of all
And this
people.
is like the Parent Trap, no, for rom
Yeah,
coms. I
because it's
mean,
the assistants trying
trying
to put them
to,
together.
yeah.
Because when they're happy, it's easier life for them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was.
It was okay. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, this was like when we started watching these things. These are the ones that I kept telling Toby. It feels like it was the story was built by an algorithm.
Yeah, yeah.
It felt like
The
these are
the
it
formula
was
was very
super.
there.
It was like it followed the tropes to a degree that it did feel like a formula, or it felt like a an outline that they were following. So
Mm.
that was like a little odd. And then I guess before the last thing I'll cite is that how about all those holiday themed ones that came after Love Actually, Valentine's Day, New Year.
I think I'll pass on all of them.
Because but ultimately they were all trying to do a Love Actually. It was
Mhm.
anthology style, many stories of a theme
Um,
with big stars.
so not on the list, but I think I'll have to cite because they were huge Kilig moments.
Okay.
Ali McBeal,
Oh, okay. We have to talk about
Kilig
TV. Yeah,
moments galore in that series. Um, Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies. Okay, I love
Pushing
Pushing Daisies.
Daisies was super Kilig for a, I guess you could say it, a genre show. Is that what you'd call it?
Yeah, because it was kind of fantastical. And then I mean, just all of them because they can't touch each other, but then they super love each other, and you can feel the attract the literal magnetic attraction between them to come together. And then they'll find all these creative ways to touch but don't touch, or like hug the dog.
And then, surprisingly, the magicians had a lot of Kilig moments because there
Oh.
were, you could tell there was something there, and they're like denying it, and
Mm-mm.
It had nice Kilig moments there.
Okay, now I can go to your real life list. Let's talk
So,
about real life Kilig moments.
so in terms of thought catalog, I have not.
We don't screen these
Yeah,
things
so
before
we'll find out.
we just pull lists up while
But
we're here.
supposedly, here are examples of everyday moments that are actually the most romantic. Tall order, this list is 4 years old.
Ooh.
Being able to constantly impersonate or make fun of each other's weird little quirks. Yeah, I guess that's true. What?
Yeah, I make fun of Toby all the time.
More when no one's looking, trust me.
Well, I don't need an audience. I just need Toby to know.
Accidentally getting the giggles together in the middle of really serious situations where the sheer inappropriateness of how you're behaving makes everything 1,000 times funnier.
Okay, this is
So
true.
we've had a lot.
We have a
this.
lot of this. We're very snarky. We don't say anything. It's just a look. And then, because we both saw something, we look at each other. And it's like,
or sometimes we'd look at each other and we realize someone's noticed something and then there's just one word and we get it na.
yes.
Yung mga fish. Yes. And then we're like,
And it's normally at a party, at a public event. I don't know. It's a weird situation.
And well, this one's not just us, but it has really gotten to the point of it was a funeral, it was a wake, and we had to hide in a room because we were like, oh my
Oh
god.
yes, I remember that. I remember that.
Okay.
Or even things like what's this? When a play is not going as expected and we want to laugh, but
Mhm.
it's not a comedy.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. Having plans with a bunch of friends or another couple, then celebrating together where the other people cancel because you seriously did not feel like going anyway.
I don't know about that because if I didn't feel like seeing them, I wouldn't have set the appointment.
Yeah, we're not like that.
We're very direct. We're just not going to.
Toby, How I Met Your Mother. Yes, that one is another show with a lot of Kilig moments.
Oh yeah, Toby made me watch that one. I mean, I enjoyed it too, but
How I Met Your Mother. No, you made me watch. That.
was it the other? Are you sure? Because I thought everybody cited the horn thing.
Okay, I think I remember bringing it up that I was curious about it,
Okay.
but I didn't make you watch it because I've never seen it either.
It was on iFlix and we watched it.
And the only time that I started to appreciate the show was because I realized cutesy.
Not the lead.
Yes.
Not the lead. The pineapple guy. Okay.
Then having unplanned competition on who can put sweat. Okay, that's irrelevant.
No.
Feeling totally relaxed around them because you don't have to exhaust yourself with boring small talk.
I guess them as a gender neutral
With each
pronoun.
other.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, like that's
But I don't think it's a Kilig moment.
okay. Because again, this is some Western article that talks
but in
about
terms
romantic.
I don't think it's a romantic moment. I think it's. Oh well.
It's a gift, Toby.
Yeah, it's a
Not
gift.
many people have someone like
Okay.
this in their life.
Being unable to help yourself from feeling fond of a lot of silly little things about them, such as their handwriting, the way they sneeze, or how ridiculous their laugh can sometimes sound. This sounds like Flip. I'm sorry. The line is super Flip. But yeah, we have these little quirks we notice about each other. Whether it's stuff that we are fond of or stuff that we will make sure no one ever experiences. You always tell me not to use my feet.
And it's and then like how you'll make fun of me being. I'm not a neat freak. I have rules about certain things because the house is a mess.
So you're a rule freak.
Sure.
Okay.
We can call it that.
Having tell them told
Having them tell
sorry.
you that one of your major insecurities is one of the things they find most lovable about you. I don't know about romantic. It is reassuring.
Yeah, I guess it's a parang I love
I
you.
accept you.
I love your flaws.
Yay.
Not being grossed out or embarrassed to talk about normal bodily functions with one another. Being comfortable together that it's actually really funny to talk about it. I think we got into this very early.
I'm sorry, I have no filter with people I'm with because like then it's really like announcing things. First, it's the announcing I'm going to the bathroom because which is a family habit for us. It's like we literally like have to poop because there was this weird. You always have to know.
Mhm.
Hey, people have to know where you are as kids. So like if you're just even if you're going to the bathroom, you'd have to go tell someone you're going to the bathroom and what you're gonna do, because it's a gauge of how long you're gonna be there. So I think I weirded Toby out in the beginning. It was like I have to poop.
Yeah,
It's like,
that naman.
and then
Um,
but then later on then I like I'll announce like, oh, gonna fart.
well, we also had to like alert each other because remember there was a time we didn't have a door.
Yeah, yeah.
That was in Cubao,
Oh yeah.
so there was that need to alert each other.
And then ultimately, what's this? Our peak weirdness is like we could. Well, I know Toby's uncomfortable. Me, I'm like I can have conversations sitting on the toilet while Toby's outside.
Okay, I'm uncomfortable because I don't like people smelling it.
Poop is
Smelling
poop.
mine.
Poop is poop.
Yeah, but I don't like you smelling
I'm
mine.
not going inside to like smell it.
Because it
You know,
sometimes
I'm
gets
talking from the door.
so sometimes it gets really potent, and I'm like, potent potables.
Okay.
Okay. Mitch mentions, di ba kilig moment yung suddenly looking at each other?
Depends. I mean, like sometimes it's like the earlier example of, but yeah. I mean, like Toby and I have a lot of like, we have a lot
You
of
always tease me about that. You
what?
always like, in love ka na naman.
Oh yeah, Toby gets very baduy, and then he'll be super. Like, it's like because like I can. We're in the middle of a work day. I just drop by his area of the table. Like we're so far away. I drop by, and then he'll like lean over, and then he'll start. Back.
Unintentionally taking on their favorite sayings and phrases in your everyday life, even the ones that annoy you. So basically, you say stuff they say, I guess.
I don't know if
Um,
we have because I don't know. I don't know a particular catchphrase, but I'm sure Toby and I talk very similarly by at this point after 12 years of living together.
picking up all their favorite snacks at the grocery store and feeling excited because you know how happy it'll make them.
Oh yeah, Toby's a big like. I got I get things for the other person. Okay. Noah's like, remind me of the friends of where Monica was speaking to Chandler while he was pooping. See, that's normal.
I think we skipped
Kenny
something.
also asking like, is it not a normal family thing? I don't know. Some people don't do the whole bathroom announcement
Yeah.
thing.
And like in my family, it was like closed door, bathroom, no.
Well, in
But
family
bathroom, no.
naman,
I
bathrooms are
mean,
closed.
but bathrooms like super private. Like
Sacrosanct.
someone's in the
Okay.
bathroom, don't disturb them.
It's like yung kilig na walking away and then other person and you were saying to yourself, look back, lumingon ka, tapos lumingon siya. Okay, that's a very movie moment.
That's a very rom com thing that I will admit I have. And Rocky did look back.
Wow.
Being more touched when they do a task for you that you hate, like laundry, dishes, getting your oil changed, than when they get some kind of typical romantic gift like flowers. So liking that the other person does tasks more than romantic tasks.
I mean, like, I don't. It doesn't have to be something we hate. Like, I mean, I Toby and I have competitive chores, and then I recently took one of those love language quizzes, and
Mm.
then my love language is acts of service. I was like, okay, apparently this is really my thing. But I find it a lot more meaning. But this is, I think, it's also a very domestic
Mm.
thing. Like because we live together, and then figuring out the chores is more important to me than you buying something na
Uh-huh.
naman and trying to surprise me. Especially, and I think I will say also that I think the pandemic has diluted the power of gifts
Mhm.
only because uh, you no longer have the joy of being able to go out on your own to shop for a surprise something
Mm.
and come back and like it's wrapped and everything is delivered and then like and there's it's that and then I know that and we're in such a small space and if Toby is like negotiating with an online seller I'll inevitably see him pull out his phone because he's waiting for an OTP. It's like it's the
And then
the
I'll grumble. It's not
it's
happening.
not working again. The magic of gift of physical of whatever material gifts is like diminished in
Mhm.
pandemic. That's my perspective.
Being able to complain about someone in your life who's really frustrating you without ever having to worry about seemingly gossipy or um we openly just talk about
We're just very
whoever
shady
we want to.
together.
Convincing them to finally start watching a show that you used to hate.
Well,
I,
Toby made me watch Lost.
no. Um, I don't think we're ever the type to watch a show we hate.
Okay, we'll just give it another chance. Because I didn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say I hated Lost. I didn't super like it.
Mhm.
And then, but it was only with watching with you that I got past season two and finally appreciated it. So I mean, there's that. I guess. I guess.
Ultimately, having them be the one who insists on weekly dates spent watching it together. Ang dami niyang interconnected. Anyway, not feeling at all awkward if there's silence between you two. I think this is something which I really like that we were able to find.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not something I've had in previous relationships. Um, and it's nice feeling connected despite not connecting.
Have you moved or did the camera move or like because you have parang you're so much there kasi when you're not okay,
Yeah.
when you're like okay. Um, no, but yeah, I like that too, and I know like we've had the few times in the early days when we would have a guest over, like for a long
They
period
get
of
weirded
time,
out.
and then like we'll be all just at like normally we're at the table at our respective computers and doing stuff, and then we could not be talking, and then like, are you okay? And then parang nag-away ba kayo? Like, no, no, no. This is our we're just like this. We're just happy to be in the same space, and then we don't have to be constantly
Mm.
entertaining the other. So I agree on that.
So now that we're talking about more general killing moments, um, what can you share of other killing moments? Not necessarily us, but in general, because we are saying that killing moments can be beyond romance,
Mm-mm.
can be beyond love.
Well, apparently I'm really a big acts of service person, so like it means a lot to me when people make an effort.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, to be fair, whether sometimes it's a gift, and it's not just that you gave a gift,
Mm-hmm.
but you gave a very specific, nuanced, thoughtful gift that reflects a conversation we had or some specific knowledge you have of me.
Mm-hmm.
Then that thrills me. That's like, okay, wow, that's meaningful. Noel, of course, is yes, missing the past. Okay. What about you? What is something you can think of from a general non-romantic kilig perspective?
Well, I didn't really ever think I'd find myself getting emotionally caught up um, from animals.
Mm.
Because it was one thing for me to just, ducks are fun, pigs are cute, but then now, especially after having learned to care for and love a dog, there is that sudden side of me that now just feels very funny when I see animals, and there's that parang, oh, I wonder if I can say hello, but there's still a part of me that's always holding back, kasi I guess I don't want to get attached again.
Mm. It'll be it's slightly inappropriate to bring this up right after, but I guess I feel similarly, inevitably similarly about children, about
Mm,
babies.
mm,
I've generally appreciated kids, but it wasn't until my sister, gave birth to my nephew, my
mm.
first nephew. Oh, there's two now. That's like, oh wow. Then it's like this whole other thing, and I really found myself gushing over this kid. And then even now, and like we work together. So then we have a lot of video calls. Then the new baby's there,
Mm.
and then it's a lot. We'll just stare at the baby for sometimes in the middle of a meeting and like, oh, what's he doing? So yeah. Um, Mitch, side scores, heart fluttering, yung biglang dumating yung in-order mong food, biglang dating, and it was, wow, Mitch, you're at peak writing right now. I'm like, really hard for this one. Maybe in the arrangement or sa serving at amoy. Okay. There's like there's whole parts of your words missing. It's like, are you typing with one hand? It's like, do you need help? Blink very quickly if you're being coerced.
I guess maganda yung arrangement or
Yeah.
pag-serve plus amoy. Maganda yung amoy. Hindi man yung delivery.
I've not think I've gotten this from delivery, but
Mm.
I like it like the few times that there were fine dining restaurants that like really impressed us.
Mm-mm.
And then like, ooh, this is cool, Or even things like I think I like like one of those rare times we actually went to Boracay, and then we had the beachside dinner thing with the
Yeah.
wine and everything. Like, oh, this is
Yeah,
so
that was nice. That was super
fancy.
unexpected, and
I super enjoyed it, and we didn't get a lot of sand in our food.
yeah.
I thought we would get more sand in our food. So yeah, of course, no, mas kilig ko sa waiter na guapo.
And then I guess there's also those times when, you know, people out of the blue reach out to show appreciation for something you don't even remember or
Hmm.
something from way back.
Yeah, yeah.
So um, there's it's nice to have that acknowledgement. Um, and it doesn't even have to be anything. Sometimes it's just that parang,
Sometimes it's a seemingly blah moment to you,
mm,
but it's that moment made such an impact to someone else, and that's what they remember. I mean, well, I've had those where like it'll be some random story from our school days,
mm,
but then it came off across very differently to him than to me.
and
Then
had such an impact that
yeah, or similarly, or like as a slightly contemporary example, it's like the few times I'd have someone cite and like, hey, I read your blog, and then
yes,
that
yes,
was such
yes.
a like, oh, I don't really expect people to read it. It's so weird. I write so much and then I don't expect people
Mm,
to read. So that was nice. And I think the new version of that is taking out sa YouTube
yes,
for
it's
the
the
old bar
videos.
videos, and then like, oh,
And
okay,
I
yeah.
remember there were those na parang that time lang sila nakapuntang Manila. They
Yes.
never thought they'd ever visit, so they always watch the videos para feel nila nandun
So
sila.
that's like, oh, okay. I felt very good about that. Okay, yeah. That's definitely something.
So going back to something that was raised earlier, Kenny mentions, what are non-canon ships that make you guys kilig? So shipping, it's tricky for us kasi we can't get the actor out of the picture.
Yes.
So, like for example, there are some movies or BL series or television series wherein you have gay roles played by straight guys,
Mm.
and a lot of people will go crazy over, oh my god, and hot or whatever, or relationship goals. And Rocky and I are both, but they're straight, so it doesn't have that same effect for us, which
Yeah.
I know is in some ways weird or hypocritical. Like, why am I getting Kilig over Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks when they're not naman really an item, right?
But yeah, but at the same time, they're also not. But you're because the question is it shifts around to the if you feel attraction,
Yeah.
and that then it gets weird, or like when you go beyond the text, so to speak.
Mm-mm. And I could understand the Kilig quality of it as an entertainment. So like, you might have the two actors still, acting all sweet to each other for a media appearance or this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it becomes something that's being done lang, let's say on social media to keep up
To get hype
a narrative or
attention.
something,
Mm-mm.
I kind of feel odd about it because it starts feeling super manipulative. It's sort
Mm.
of like how um, you'd have two celebrities who'll drum up that they're secretly having some sort of relationship. Yung pala, it's because they have a movie they're promoting.
Which is like a lot of like, I mean, it's a trope for local love teams,
Mm-mm.
not necessarily, mostly straight ones, but I'm sure the queer ones or the BL ones are trying to like play from the same playbook.
And then, funnily, in the Western world, naman, it's the other way around. It's more they shot the movie together, but then in the course of the shooting,
Then
they
something
end
kind of
up and they
happens.
sort of become an item for that time, and that's why all these stupid nicknames happen. So, yeah, there is that.
So I don't know if like so that's why like I'm such a hard time with like I'm not a big shipping person
Hmm.
in that sense. Um, like I'll appreciate the creative work as it is, but then to go beyond that and like, oh, I want this person to hook up, and I'm not so much of that. I'll just wait and see how it
Hmm.
expands.
And I guess for me, I'll to just quantify things more. Fantasies are different from shipping. You know, to have a personal fantasy of straight actor and straight act, that's do it if you want. That's in your brain. There's no harm done.
Okay.
But if you're gonna start writing fiction about this actor and this actor doing it together, or you're gonna start, if it becomes that, if you're making it some sort of entertainment that is now for consumption of others,
Mm.
then
Okay,
it
okay.
feels very wrong. It feels as wrong for me as if someone heard about your younger brother and decided to write a sexual story about them. Parang that person isn't necessarily, open for public consumption in that way. And celebrities um, aren't either. They are only open for public consumption for the roles they're in the material they've worked in.
Mm-hmm.
But them as them
Yeah, their
is
personal lives
uh
are
so
their
that's where
own.
I get very very weird about shipping and the like. I don't feel comfortable when it starts doing that in a public place.
Okay, okay. Noel sides mas kilig ako dun sa... sorry. Kilig after the episode kwentuhan we had last week. So,
Mm.
na-miss ko kayo. We miss you too. And that's a nice example though. And I think we felt that a few times, like when we get to reconnect with certain friends. Even if it's just online through video calls like this. But
Mm.
it's something. And then you just kind of you're we keep getting reminded that we haven't been talking to
Yeah.
people, but at the same time it's that weird, like you just lose track of time, like you keep thinking like we're always online, we're interacting to some degree, but then it's still different to like talk, even if it's over a video call or whatever. And yeah, that's something like I think we felt the same way, like even things like when we first like really talked to Nico,
Mm.
like early in the quarantine, and like we haven't really been talking, and then we started talking right for a while. There was like we were talking almost weekly, and then it was such a thing. It was such a thing. So yeah, yeah, Noel, we finished really late.
So there, I think in the end, the Kilig happy moments are, well, one, they're definitely not just romance oriented.
Mm-mm.
Two, they're the strong emotional moments that you can't just seem to find the words for.
Yeah.
And three, oh, hey Japes,
Hello.
hope you're feeling better. Get your rest. He hasn't been resting for too long. And then three would be, um, they don't like they're not like intense to the point that they last the entire day. They're really just these burst
Mm-mm.
moments, and that doesn't make them less powerful.
Mm-mm.
It just shows that that's how they work.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay.
So, given that, to wrap up this session, um, how do you feel about um, people who do stuff intentionally to try to get a killing reaction?
What is your example of this?
Um, for example, in Twitter, the person would post very pointed or um, parang something that could have been sent to the person will be done in a public way. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's not just Twitter. Um, Examples range as small as, let's say in Twitter nga, something like, okay ka lang ba, but idadaan pa sa public rather than direct message.
Okay.
But then you also have the more common trope, which is
Ooh.
proposals and
Ooh.
um,
Those big
grand,
gestures.
the big grand gestures. Yeah.
Thirst traps, Noel says. I think that's different.
Meron din eh. I've seen like on Twitter, magpo-post ng thirst picture pero dedicated kay partner.
Dedicated thirst traps.
Oo.
Okay.
So parang, I'm like, okay, I guess that's how you guys work. But, so what do you think of that?
I guess it really depends on the specific
Mm.
context. It will always feel a little manipulative to some degree
Mm.
because it is in the public sphere. Then it becomes very performative. But at the same time, I mean, on the one hand, it's like because you're showing everyone, you're proving
Mm.
your love or the depths of your emotion or your feelings for this person, and you're willing to put yourself on the spot, or put yourself out there. Um, sort of thing, which could have its merits. But a lot of times, because it's public, then the response now is not necessarily 100% genuine because it is tempered by
Mm.
that by the process of being observed
Yes.
and being others being witness to it. So then it's like tricky, and then you'll get all the especially if it's digital like on social media, then something will do something like that. Then you'll get all the sana all, and like okay, it's just like so like Toby and I don't do a lot of like big professions of love to one
Mm.
another except maybe anniversaries, but then like yung people they have entire conversation checking on each other, which makes probably makes more sense if they weren't living together ish, but at the same time isn't it shouldn't that be a chat and not a public
And that's
exchange?
what I feel about it. The parang it feels like it's two birds with one stone and not really just checking on each other.
Yeah,
So
because you put it out there, then it becomes a little performative, and then like, and a lot of these people are the same people that like, if things don't work out, then it's a very public things don't work out. Whatever.
yeah, so Noel mentions it's similar to those who post everything they do with their partner publicly when I know for a fact they're cheating on each other. Dun dun dun. Mitch shares, oh, public proposal, not a fan. Okay yung sa about time proposals.
About time, the movie. Yeah. So I definitely, and then marriage proposals are like, ooh, very very
Yeah.
uncomfortable with
Now
that one.
speaking as a rom com guy,
Yes.
I get
Who
the
likes grand
I
gestures?
get the idea of the grand gesture. I get why there is the urge to do that.
Mm-mm.
But the point of doing that is it's a grand gesture. So if you have a new grand gesture every week,
It's less
iba na yun.
grand.
If you have a new one every year, lokohan na to, di ba? Parang show na lang yan. And again, I'm always wary of attempts to um, make a statement, but it doesn't seem like the statement is to who you're addressing it to.
Mm-mm. Parang it's to everyone else. And that's why, like, I mean, like, as much as I feel like in our years together, I've been inspired to be a bit more romantic in certain things. But then normally it's like still between us. Like, it's
Mm.
something I do that has meaning to you, and then I'll convey it in a manner that you see, but I don't necessarily put it out there.
So, like one thing I'll cite is like in the office, how there was the wedding,
Office US.
they were stressing over it, and then in the end, they got off and got married because they just wanted it,
Yeah.
and then they went back to the grand thing for everyone else because that's what they wanted, and that's what I kind of hope to see more of from people because I
Which ironically you won't see because it's probably happening in private.
yeah, but how do I put this?
Okay.
From some who I've seen post in that way, I've also seen posts of them getting frustrated na hindi naging engaging yung pinost nila.
Oh yeah. Then it's like ooh.
So
Not a good look.
it becomes very parang I want to reach out and parang um maybe don't do it that way na lang if you feel annoyed and
You're
ganito
not
na.
getting the eyeballs, likes,
Yeah.
and shares you wanted.
But then that one is suddenly a whole new story because it's now turned into a, you know, um, it's part of their self care or ganyan ganyan. So I don't know. It's just a vicious cycle, and sometimes I worry that maybe the search for that killing moment. Um,
I don't think that's
it
Kilig anymore.
no, but yun nga eh,
It's a rush of its own.
yun exactly when it's something that you're hungry for. It's not really the killing moment anymore. It's more artificially induced rush that you're looking
It
for.
is a yeah. It's a like endorphin thing that it's a drug rush to
Mhm.
some degree, where you're getting off on social media attention.
So I hope people who embrace rom coms can always still distinguish the difference between those because it can be tricky.
Mm-mm.
For many, kasi rom coms similar to coming out. Diba? Rom-coms was their window to how things should be done.
Okay, yeah.
And that can lead to tricky situations. Because I remember we have had friends who, you know, you know, maybe I'll follow her and I'll see what she's doing and getting and like, no, 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 no. That's kinda
Dangerous.
scary.
Dangerous.
Diba? So it's there.
Don't be creepy.
Know how rom-coms are best seen as fantasy as well.
Rom-coms are entertainment, not role models. Not necessarily. And you can take certain things from them. You can celebrate the fun bits about them, but
Mm.
they're not a roadmap for like how relationships should go. And I mean, like then every relationship has to go through the misunderstanding and the fight, and then the
Yeah,
mini breakup, and then the oof, oof.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember that one person was all, you know, buti nga nag-away tayo kasi ganyan.
Oh yeah, then like every couple has to fight. Like no,
Noel mentioned stock responsibly.
the lesson of rom coms. um, yeah, and then I don't know, just it just there are. I mean, because when you, I guess for wrapping up, it's like there are a lot of things in life that will give you genuine feelings of kilig and
Yeah,
celebration and
Ace just
whatnot.
mentioned Aldab.
No,
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, but it's okay. But Aldab was one of those huge killing things on TV that a lot of people
Yeah,
connected
I'm
with.
just blocking all the Bacarisas.
Mhm.
They're bots. Okay, so I don't know what their goal is, but they're a whole family of
Yeah, it's
bots.
all these local bots things. Okay.
Okay, but yeah, so then like I mean there are lots of venues, reasons, triggers
Mm.
for genuine feelings of kilig, and then I think enjoy them as they come. Don't try to construct them. Don't try to and then because you take away from it. If you experience it often or almost regularly, then it loses its meaning, its impact. Versus when the genuine, honest ones come along in your life, and then you get surprised by it. I think that'll feel a million times better
Mm.
than if you contrive uh, otherwise. And but it also requires a certain degree of awareness and openness and appreciating what's in front of you, and not always thinking about if it feels like a movie, if it
Mm.
looks like a book, whatever. So
Mhm.
that's my contribution to this.
So yeah, I guess that's our episode for this Friday night. We still have an episode on Sunday,
Yeah, we'll talk about theme parks.
and we'll hopefully have an earlier schedule of what will come next week compared to this week. I'm so sorry about this week again.
It's
Um,
okay. Hey, Toby got his first shot, so that's like hooray. But then it's AstraZeneca, so the next shot is months from now. I'm like,
September.
yeah, yeah.
But thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next
I
time.
wonder who else is still watching. If you're still watching, like say hello or say goodbye as we wrap up. But so for questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. This episode was the combination or blurring of two topics suggested by Mitch, and I forgot yesterday's topic. Pala was suggested by Carlo, which I didn't get to
Yes.
cite. But then Carlo didn't get to watch. So it's like it all compounded. Then you can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade, RG Sunico.
You could also check out our blog, budaypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what are your kilig moments, what are your favorite rom coms, what are your favorite romance movies. We'd be curious to hear from you. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And
And
this
this
is
is
Baduy
Baduy
Pride.
Pride.
Good night, everyone.
Kilig.
Why do you say it that way?
Kilig.
Like a Muppet.
Kilig.
Like a small Muppet.